What is up, people? I'm just gonna come on here and just make this quick video about today's PA. So we had two very good trades today, which was the first 2 minute, and then we had, the bullshit news candle, and then we had a 30-second that presented itself right after that. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't take the 2 minute because I was like fucking getting water, and obviously when I came back, the other candle was down here, but the 30-second and the 2 minute, I think 30-second was much better trade just because of the stop rate. I mean, there was a stop rate technically here because 1014, then we have this, but it's much more clear, especially with the SMT before the 30-second, and then we had that OB before the huge fucking Diddy candle that did the inversion. So I just want to go over the price action for today. So um, coming into the day, I really wanted to see what we did off of open, and if we wanted to tap into this 30 minute gap right here. We ended up edging it, so we had this pre-market accumulation opening a 30-minute gap here, or we just had an open 30-minute gap here, and we ended up edging it and then just displacing higher. So there was really no entry before this trade that I'm going to show you. So if you took a trade in this leg, you just have FOMO and you should quit trading. But yeah, you shouldn't be taking any trades in this candle just because we didn't tap into the 30 minute. If we tap into the 30 minute, it would be a different story. But um, basically, just watch this whole thing play out, and then once we reached, what is this, the 100 level, we started to chop around. So we started to generate liquidity leading up to our high time frame DOL, which is all-time highs. All-time highs is a very strong DOL. So we have all-time highs as our DOL. We start to accumulate, so we start to add to the liquidity pool of this all-time high, and then we open 10 a.m. We edge the all-time high, so we add to the liquidity pool. So we now have stacked 15-minute candles leading up to all-time highs. So it's going to be a very strong magnet for price. And then what do we do after 10 a.m.? We start to go lower after opening up um, after tapping into a 15-minute gap. So then we have a 15-minute intermediate low at the 10 a.m. 15-minute candle, and then 10:15 opens once we put in this intermediate low, and it opens and it does what? It sweeps out the previous 15-minute candle that tapped into the 15-minute gap. So we now have a very high resistance stop, and once we do that, we do get our instant 2-minute inversion. If you took this trade, it's a very good trade still, and didn't even get stopped out surprisingly. And then we had some sort of like war news I heard, some like nuke news, and then we had this fucking candle, and it didn't stop us out, but ES ended up taking that low, so we had an SMT, which makes this next trade even better. We end up getting a strong inversion on ES, and NQ kind of hesitates when it interacts with it. But what made me confident was this OB, so we never filled it fully, and then we just have this OB with a super strong candle, so that's when I took my position long, and I just targeted a 1-to-1 with the SMT low as my stop. And yeah, hit full TP, and I think this 2-minute, very good trade as well. I'm not sure if it hit TP. I haven't checked. Yeah, both of them hit TP. Perfect. Okay, so very good day for all-time highs, but I think the biggest thing to take away about today is just to wait for our setup when we're trading at all-time highs. Just because these conditions are very bad for just, FOMOing in. You never know when the market wants to retrace, and then usually the retrace and a premium PDA will bring us back to all-time highs. That's going to be our high probability setup that we want to be taking, so we can guarantee those consistent profits. And yeah, so again, we had the pre-market accumulation. This is how I came to the conclusion. We then edged this liquidity pool being the 30-minute fair value gap before displacing higher, making new all-time highs. And then we have 10 a.m. open, and we have it run lower into our 15-minute gap that was created from our 945 displacing up. And once we hit this 100 level, we start to accumulate. Instead of displace higher or retrace lower, we start to accumulate. And 10 a.m. opens, and it edges this liquidity pool. So we have now a high time frame DOL being the all-time highs and this other 15-minute high. So we have a relative equal highs leading up to our all-time highs. A very good A plus DOL. And then we have 10:15 open, and then it sweeps this 10 a.m. low, with then getting our instant inversion to target all-time highs. So we now have stacked PO3s being 10 a.m. opening up here, and then we have 10:15 opening right here. And we run below 10:15, tapping into a fair value gap, sweeping an intermediate low, then getting our instant inversion, which is the big part. We have our very strong 2-minute closure, and then it delivers back to all-time highs, being a very high probability setup. And obviously the 2-minute inversion just ends up doing this. We put in an SMT with ES, and then getting our 30-second inversion here. Obviously the 2-minute did not play out like that. It should have. It probably would have without the news. It really looked like that, but this is what ended up happening today. So we had our stacked PO3s, our 10 a.m. PO3 running into the 15-minute for value gap, and our 10:15 then sweeping the previous candle's low inside the 15-minute for value gap, and then getting our displacement up towards our A plus DOL being the all-time highs and the relative equal highs leading up to the all-time highs. So that's how you could have caught either the 2-minute or the 30-second today. I think it was very textbook setup. I know fuck ton of people caught this trade, but this is how you could have formulated it very, very logically, being PO3s, stacked PO3 times, and inversions, because it was a very logical trade, very mechanical. And yeah, thanks for watching.